Some say that he became the Praetorian of Terra because he was too lazy to leave home, and that bored at home, he would constantly stimulate himself with a pain glove, and that the true reason for his disappearance was he pleasured himself into oblivion. All we know, he's called Rogal Dorn. And the Horus Heresy starts off with a gigantic explosion with the release of Rogal Dorn. Welcome on in, this is Spruce and Studs, and we are going to be taking a very deep dive into this golden, lovely looking Primarch in this review video. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is actually commenting on this box right here. So this box has a very premium feel. It is high quality cardboard, and you know that your $130 to $150 purchase is going to be sleeping very safely inside of this box. So obviously looking at boxes is not what you're here for, so let's get into the review. So allow me to interrupt my fuzzy haired self with this cleaner version of myself and let you know that I have been officially sponsored by Flamatoy, where I get all my action figures, and I'll have to say they are an excellent source to buy your action figures because they have the widest range of all the Warhammer 40k action figures that we know, love, and are completely addicted to, and they have fantastic customer service as well as very quick turnaround shipping times for free. And I also wanted to remind you to use the code SNS to receive 12% off of your purchase. And with that being said, let's get back to it. And just like the other boxes for the other Primarchs, JoyToy has affixed a seal here. So we gotta bust it open. All right, let's reveal this bad boy. And as with Gilman and Johnson, the inside of this is lined with a nice foam protecting the action figure on the inside. And there's this plastic insert that locks the action figure in place. This one is also surrounded by a nice layer of plastic we are going to unveil. And there you go, Mr. Dorn in all his golden glory. So here is the action figure himself, and then we have this golden eagle that goes on the back of his neck. We have Storm's teeth here, and then the voice of Terra down here. There are 6 hands, 3 for each side, and as well as, I believe, 2 grenades. All right, we have Mr. Golden Trophy on our hands right now, so let's dive into this review. And the first thing I'm going to comment on is the Auric armor itself. This armor is very interesting, and in that I think this is the first time, or at least my first time, in noticing that JoyToy has a gloss finish on this armor. Most of the armors that we have seen in the past have a matte finish, so this guy has an extra dimension of glowiness about him. He really looks like a gigantic golden trophy. Anyways, so let's move on to the finer details of Mr. Dorn. So up top you have spiky hair, and is very nicely textured actually. And you can see some highlights that are happening at the highest edges of the spiky hair. And then there is shading that's also happening within the wrinkles of his forehead. Looks like the eyes are screened on very nicely. There's one thing that I'll comment on this action figure is weird looking a little bit, is that his neck, I don't know, kind of looks disembodied from this angle. Usually on other JoyToy action figures, the bottom is actually rounded. So let's take a look at the right pauldron of Mr. Dorn right here. And you get to see a regal eagle here. So you've got the eagle's head, some garlands down here, and then metal eagle wings that are happening all throughout this thing. But the armor looks fairly monotonous because there is no shading as well as no highlighting that's happening here. You usually also see some silver on the highest edges of the feathers. So if we flip around to the other side, it appears that this pauldron is also a mirror image of the right hand side. Now in the middle part of this action figure, you have once again an eagle's head with bolts of lightning that are shooting out from it. There is also metal wings, and in the abdomen region over here you get to see some nice texturing that you do not normally typically see in most Space Marine action figures. Let's take a look at the arms, and the arms look like they have some nice iconography that is happening with it, especially with the forearms as well as the back of the hand. And now let's move on to looking at the middle section of Mr. Dorn. So starting off with the plate of armor on the right hand side, you get to see the chapter symbol of the Imperial Fist right here, although it's kind of hard to tell because there's really no shading and really no highlighting to actually differentiate the gold on this armor. This part has a hook that you can hook on the Voice of Terra right here. So in the middle part of this action figure is where you see a little break from the flood of gold. So you have these 5 glowing blue translucent areas, and then you also get to see a kind of mini tabard right here. And if we flip this part up, it is red with a little bit of shading on the edges of it. And flipping over to the other side is again an Imperial Fist symbol. And then if we take a look at the back, there's really not too much to see except 3 more glowing blue translucent areas. So while we are on the back, it's also nice to see some silver vents. So let's take a look at Rogal Dorn's regal cape, and clearly you get to see some gold embroidery that's happening on the bottom of this cape. There is a gigantic Imperial Fist symbol right here that is on a pedestal, more 7th Legion stuff, and then there are some laurels that are flanking the Imperial Fist. And if we flip this cape up, is more embroidery, more 7th Legion with laurels. It appears that we have the symbol of an eagle and some white embroidery on this other side. On the knees, there are plenty of ornate iconography, more Imperial Fist and more laurels, and then you get some glowing red gems down here. All right, the next thing that we're going to take a look at is the Voice of Terra, and I have not seen a bolter of this look since the 2nd edition, which is pretty crazy. So taking a look at the Voice of Terra, there obviously are a lot more colors than you would typically expect on a bolter compared to the modern day Primaris bolters that are out there. So you have the black casing right here, and then the silver gunmetal portion that is here that's been highlighted up, a nice light silver. It appears that the handle is kind of like made of an ivory type of color. And then you have the gold of the wings. The casing is also nicely highlighted. And one thing that I'll point out to you is that the magazine is also removable right here. So we're going to put the Voice of Terra down and then take a look at Storm's teeth. There is nice golden iconography that is emblazoned all over the place. It's nice that the body of this chainsword is red, which serves as a nice contrast to the body of Dorn. The teeth of the chainsword are a dark gunmetal color, and it's been highlighted up a light silver color up here. And if we flip around to the other side, it is more of the same. The thing that makes this chainsword a little bit different is that it's got a gigantic eagle guard right here, where you can see a Imperial Fist symbol right in the middle of it. So we're going to put this guy down and take a look at the grenades here. I'm not exactly too sure where the grenades go, but these are pretty cool accessories. And this eagle right here is what Dorn is rocking behind his head and is affixed to the body by this peg right here. And the final thing that we're going to look at is this backpack. So this backpack is something that's a little bit different to me, as I do not play 30K or the Horus Heresy. So this is the first time me taking a look at something as cool as this. It looks like you have like a vent in the middle here that's a nice translucent blue color. As we flip around to the side of it, you get to see the same translucent blue vents. And moving on to the other side of this backpack, it doesn't appear that there's anything too interesting. And that is Mr. Dorn's backpack. So let's talk about Rogal Dorn's articulation. The neck area, you can also rotate 360 degrees without any issues whatsoever. With the joint that's connecting the head and the neck, you can achieve some pivoting right here. About his arm is 360 degrees of very free rotation, which is nice. The forearm also has 360 degrees of rotation right here. This is the maximum angle that you can bend the elbow, but you can push the elbow in once and then twice because this part is double jointed. And then there's plenty of wobble about the wrist, and the wrist also can be spun 360 degrees. And with regards to the upper body to the torso, there is a joint here that allows you to pivot Dorn back and forth like that. And then the torso to the waist, you can achieve 360 degrees of motion, no issues. You can actually kick Dorn's foot out pretty far, and you can also kick it out very far backwards. In fact, you can do 360 degrees of motion about this joint right here if you really wanted to. This is the maximum you can extend the knee area, but you can push it back once like this, and then once again like this. This is also double jointed like the elbow. And with regards to the ankle area, you can pivot this up, pivot this back, and there's pivoting motion side to side. And with the toe area, you can push this forward. And now I'll do a very quick assembly of Mr. Dorn. So you put this part right here on the back of his neck. The backpack is attached by this gigantic square peg into this square hole. You can opt to have Rogal either wield his bolter or hook the bolter on right here as such. There are no real places to put the grenades except into Rogal's hand if you want. And obviously the Storm's teeth can be put into his very golden, gigantic hands. So that is the review of this golden giant. Time to wrap this one up. Holy cow, we are going to be absolutely dead broke with the release of all the Horus Heresy Primarchs here. But don't get me wrong, I am still very excited about that prospect. So let me know what you think of this action figure in the comment section below, and I'll let you know what I think about him right now. So I'll be honest with you in that I feel as if the look of this action figure is a little bit flat in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because, well, this whole entire action figure is clearly gold, it is lustrous, it is beautiful. However, you really can't see that much differentiation with any of the panels or anything, just because there's no shading, nor is there highlighting. And I know that JoyToy has the ability to do all two of those things that we ask for in this action figure. So I think it's a little bit of a shame that JoyToy did not do that, because it would definitely help the action figure pop and break up the monotony of all this gold. With that being said, I still think this is a very excellent action figure. It is articulated very well. It has pretty much 360 degrees of very free movement. There is no blockage of movement anywhere, so that is definitely a plus. There are a few design things I really do like about Dorn. That face is very, very nicely done. I love how the eyes are screened on, and the facial features are very prominent and very clean. And as we look at Storm's teeth, it is a very ornate looking chainsword. And if you just want to talk about the armor itself, there's beautiful golden iconography that is all over this action figure that I do appreciate. And I also do like the gloss finish on the armor, which is very different from what we have been used to before. So the $130 to $150 question is, should you buy this? Obviously, if you are into Horus Heresy and you're into Primarchs, this is a no-brainer for you. And also, if you're just an Imperial Fist fan, this is also a no-brainer to you, in that this guy definitely is a must-buy. So this is Sprues and Studs. I hope you enjoyed this action figure review. I do thank you, fellow members, for your continued viewership as well as your support. And potential new initiates of the chapter, please hit that subscribe button so that we can induct you into the scout class of this chapter. And with that being said, I thank you, and I'll see you all in the next one.